That's how you make this terrible.
So recording has started. I declare the third game of the night. The lovely hostess, Miss Reggie, and we're going to do some lazy card picking this time again. So everyone, please fall asleep.
On the other side of the street I knew stood a girl that looked like you. I guess that's deja vu, but I thought this can't be true, cause you moved to West LA or New York or Santa Fe or wherever to get away from me. Oh, but that one night was more than just right. I didn't leave you, cause I was all through. Oh, I was overwhelmed and frankly scared as hell, because I really fell for you. Oh, I swear to you, I'll be there for you. This is not a joke.
Play number 4.
Just a shy guy looking forward to life. Everything at home.
Play number 5.
When you move me, everything is groovy. They don't like it, sue me. The way you do me.
Play number 6.
I swear to you, I'll be there for you. This is not a drive-by.
Play number 7.
On the upside to a downward spiral, my love for you went viral, and I loved you every mile. You
Play number
drove
8.
away. But now here you are again, so let's skip to how you been and get down to the morning friends. And
Play number 9.
oh, but that one night is still the highlight.
And play number 10
I
for
didn't
6.
need
Lucky
you
you.
until I came to, and I was overwhelmed and frankly scared as hell, because I really
The
fell
roles
for
have been
you.
decided, and the music gets different. Mafia John awakens, and Mafia members, please awaken. You have 1 minute to make your plan. Mafia goes back to sleep. Sheriff may awaken if they would like. Thank you, Sheriff. Morning arises in the city. Good morning, everyone. So we start our discussion. So may the stronger team win. May our discussions start today with play number 1, Miss Music, your minute.
Morning, everyone. I love their idea, and I thought about that. How good is to play for the red citizen with I know. And I also love that red card because it's not stressful for me. It's not because of that. It's the same stressful, but I love how I can guess if you're right. It's much more interesting to put your thoughts together, find who's actually dark, than just to know for sure and put your strategy in. So I really love my red card, and I would. Yes. So I love this.
10 seconds.
Anyway, so 2 city wins. Love it. Even if I was the dark room, I love the game. And I love how the sheriff is doing the
And
checks.
thank you, Miss
Yeah.
Music. That's your minute. Sorry. We move on to play number 2. Miss Phoenix, your minute if you're okay.
Yes, I was. Let's go. What I can say, I just have to point out that your speech was quite weird how you started. You mumbled a little bit, so I don't know if you didn't really have enough time during the night to get like your speech correct or really think what you have to say. But it started a little bit weird, just I don't know, like compare of how you usually give your speeches. I know it's number one and so, but even though I think it's a little bit weird, what else I can say? Yeah, red citizen. I'm gonna act exactly similarly like the last game because you guys have been not trusting on me. I'm gonna play with number 4 right away. I don't against you. What else I can say? I'll pass.
Thank you, Miss Phoenix. We then move on to player number 3, Miss Conjoy. 1 minute.
I don't like being number 3 either. Now I know what numbers I like. I'm number 3 and I'm number 7. I feel like there's not much to say and I like to say stuff. You know, I like to stuff. Anyway, number 1, I feel like let's give benefit of the doubt to people because I was number 1 last time and I'm just saying people start saying, I didn't that and like some people got it really wrong. Number 2, like, are you because I was gonna say maybe you should do master next game, but then you would be like, and I was like, oh, maybe no. But yeah, I didn't feel much, but I feel like there's too much drama here. Remember, like, we wanted it to win. We want to like make too many assumptions. I always give him the benefit of the doubt, even though sometimes I'm like, yeah, you're super wrong. But let's see, let's see. But apart from that, there's not much I can say. I pass.
Thank you, Miss Conjoy. We move on then to player number 4, Mr. Hemlock. Your minute.
You're playing this game really wrong because, like, I haven't even spoken. 2 doesn't want to play with me. 3 doesn't want to play with me. 6 doesn't like that I say checker. So, like, I hope number 9 doesn't start hating me too. Yeah, I don't have too much to contribute to the red team, unfortunately, because I didn't get too much from 1, 2, or 3. All were fairly red speeches from me. So I guess the only thing I can really say is just this strategy. I just think people keep being more aggressive, but I think you can still be a bit more. Like, I still see it sometimes gets around to player number 7 and there's no nominations. So like, we need more nominations just to see how the votes go. But I've also been really loving how the sheriff, I was the sheriff this time, so I'm complimenting myself, but the sheriff's been doing a lot better these times. And I wouldn't give any strategy to Mafia because I don't want Mafia to do well.
And thank you, Mr. Hemlock. That's your minute. We move on to player number 5, Mr. President. Your minute.
Oh, it's very hard. Not really know what to say. Number 1 speech was like, most confusing speech ever. Don't even remember what she talked about. But yeah, I don't know. I know this isn't Toastmaster, but yeah, number 2, like I can't even see you. I can't see anyone like this way. So I feel like the only thing red about you is your shirt. But yeah, anyway, what can I say? I went to Darwin a few weeks ago. Went swimming with the crocodile. You don't matter. You neither. I'm telling my story. So I went swimming with the crocodiles, which was very fun. And now you distracted me and wasted all my time.
And thank you, Mr. President. That's your minute. We move on to player number 6, Miss Mamba. Your minute.
So Miss Mamba wondering how can I make any teams out of seriously, guys. I mean, okay, so I'm playing with number 2 because I think it was quite a statement to actually talk not really right about number 1, right? So it doesn't put any shadow on number 1, but it's actually make number 2 reddish in my eyes. Why nobody mentioned this? That's a question, right? So okay, number 5 is still with his crocodiles, but number 4 I believe should notice it and said. That's why I'm not playing with you just yet. So okay, I'm playing number 2, and I probably will play number 3. However, I also expect you to notice that number.
And thank you, Miss Mamba. That's your minute. We move on to player number 7, Mr. Tiny, your minute.
I'm not seeing anything major stick out at this point. I do hope number 2 that you're okay. I did find a little funny personally how number 2 was quick to dissect number 1's speech. There's not much to go on. Number 4, you may want to change your name. That might be the issue. Hemlock, people might be having bad associations possibly. But really I'm not picking up anything major in terms of bad, you know, in a sense. And speaking of snakes, I was walking home about a year ago and it was on dusk, and as I was across this road, about 10 metres up, there was a stuck snake, a giant python, and it reached from one side of the road to the other. It was at least 6.5 metres long, because I measured the road.
10 seconds.
It was like, bloody hell, you know, Brisbane's a bit dangerous. Pass.
Thank you, Mr. Tiny. We move on then to player number 8, Mr. Dramatic, your minute.
Yes, there's not a lot to go on, really. Most read on, is number 2, finally, but I'm sure the sheriff will check you and you'll be bad, so no. I am totally. I did agree with you. I felt your speech was nice, but it was very, I'm so glad to be red. Phew, no stress for me. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's genuine, but I didn't feel it maybe was. Again, it's round 1. I'm not saying definitely not playing with you, but you're great for me. You don't have as much maybe like enthusiasm and confidence as you did last time. But again, it's early. Forward speech I found fine. I didn't find any problem.
10 seconds.
5, I mean, who knows? He just talks rubbish anytime. In a nice way. 6 I do so far.
Thank you,
read.
Mr. Dramatic, that's your minute. We now move on to player number 9, Miss Frenchie, your minute.
Rise and shine, everyone. And I'm gonna start talking about 2 guys. Number 8, I loved your analysis and I'm gonna play with you because I agree with the most part. Number 2, I definitely agree with you. I found it 1 a big favorite. It's only turned 1. What no one said is that 3 always talks. 3 is the most talkative person on this table. She did not finish her minute. No one noticed that. No one talked about that. So for me, 3 at that point is the darkest player on this table, and I don't understand why no one said that. Anyway, so for me, at the moment I will play with number 2. I definitely don't play with you. And the enthusiasm is not here. I'm gonna play with Hemlock.
10
number
seconds.
5, you always you're hard to play with, but I would like to believe you're good. Mamba, I'm just
And thank you, Miss Frenchie, that's your minute. We move on to player number 10, Mr. Brisbane, your minute.
So hello everyone, how are you guys? So I'm red citizen this time, unlike last time. So number 1, I think you were a bit nervous in your speech, so I would definitely put you in a gray zone. Number 2, I think I'm gonna work you catching the Mafia. And so I would like to work with you, and I think you're pretty sure red to me. Number 3, I think I don't really agree with number 9, but I not very good at reading you, so probably in between somewhere. Number 4, I think I would like to work with you cat citizens. Oh, sorry, Mafia. So number 5, what's up people sitting in the number 5 and talking about snakes and crocodiles? So I don't know. So I didn't got your story much, so I would definitely put you in a gray zone a bit, because I think you were deviating from what the actual scene is here. And number 6, I would like to work with you, team up with you, because I think you are red to me, because you were asking anyone would like to work with
And
me.
thank you,
or
Mr.
team up with
Brisbane,
you
that's
guys.
your minute.
Alright, thank you.
Awesome. Night falls upon the city. As the night grows darker, the vicious Mafia raises their pistols and moves past the players. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. Thank you, Mafia. Mafia, go away and look to the sheriff. 9, please remain as they are. Player number 9, you may remove your mask. Give me 3 numbers.
1, 3. 1, 3, 10.
Thank you. Just put your blindfold just over your face a little bit. Morning arises in the city. Unfortunately, we have some bad news. 1, we have Mafia in our city, and 2, player number 9 was unfortunately killed. You have 1 final minute.
Well, I only could go out of the first round, and so that's not much, but 3 definitely different vibe, that's not a word we like. Why 10? It's just that out of the rest, it was like the worst speech after you guys. Like 1, 3 definitely did not like them. I mean, your speech, guys, because I thank you. And 10 out of all the speech I heard was like the most suspicious for me. But that's all I can go off. I would suggest that 3 is really different, but let's see in the second round. But that's all I have. So pass and good luck. And maybe
Thank you, Ms. French. Give me a round of applause. This is now leaving our table. We start our discussion today with player number 2, Miss Phoenix. Your minute.
Sorry if I'm over here, but I realized that the aircon didn't get me if I'm sitting that back. Sorry. So, first, I have to say that I'm glad that I'm not part of that wildlife experience on the table. I'm so relieved, thank goodness. I know you haven't spoken yet, but just in case, I'm going to nominate player number 3.
Number 3 is accepted.
Why? Because even if you haven't spoken yet, when she mentioned you, your reaction was totally different of a red player that will be so like full on like, why me asking something, like trying to get answer from her, like really concerned about she mentioned you as a mafia. That's what I'm thinking, that you could probably be a dark player. Other than that,
10
maybe
seconds.
could be 1. I'll say I play with 6, 7, and 8 so far. 10 did mention something like the same way that he did on the last game, so I'm not
And
sure
thank
about
you,
him.
Miss Phoenix. That's your minute. We now move on to player number 3, Miss Condor. Your minute.
Alright guys, apparently I have to be like super, out of there for you to believe me. The reason why I reacted, I say I was disappointed because usually we're like on the same wavelength and we're not. So I was not gonna waste my time on that one because I need to work with other people on the table to prove myself to be right. And again, on the second night, speaking second, this is a horrible place to be, number 3. What I feel during the night is I cannot tell for sure. I think you're great for me because you jump very quickly with her to go against me, and I'm like red, and usually you can pick up on that one. So I would say great. I would say check me out. I have nothing to be worried about. I would say
10
for the
seconds.
previous speeches, the people I would be suspicious about would be either 5 or 8. Why? Because 5, I was expecting more from you.
And thank you,
And
Miss
8 was the
Condor.
next.
That's your minute. We move on to player number 4, Mr. Hemlock. Your minute.
So I do need to go against 9. I didn't find any problems really with 3's speech, so she's actually fairly good to me. I don't find much difference in her behavior. 2's very weird for me as well. I have to say the most suspicious statement I heard last round was from 8. There was quite a lot of stuff said, and then when you started your speech, you said there's not a lot to go off of. Like, I felt there was so much to go off. Like,
What, reptiles?
Miss Mama said,
Warning, Mr.
said,
Dramatic.
like, I can't make a team with any of you. 5 says stuff like, it just, I felt like there was a lot to go off of, so that was just a dark speech for me, so I will nominate player number 8.
Number 8 accepted.
In terms
10
of
seconds left.
anything else, I'm really laying the red team down, but I don't have too much of an insight.
And thank you, Mr. Hemlock. That's your minute. We move on to player number 5, Mr. President. Your minute.
Oh, it's hard. Number 3, not sure what you expected more from me, but you're a little bit sus to me. Number 1 as well. Number 2 as well. Yeah, I don't know. Number 1 speech at the beginning was like, it was pretty terrible. Like, a player of that caliber should not have such a bad speech. Yeah, I'm not sure like what's going on because I can't really see you. Like you're blocked from my point of view, like number 3. So like in number 2 you said she had like a facial expression when number 9 nominated her. I can't really see because she's blocked to me. Yeah, I don't know. But I got a really cool idea, like all those video footage, I'm gonna feed it
10
to a
seconds.
machine learning algorithm. And then with a ear thing, it's gonna tell me exactly who's lying and when. And I'm gonna have 100% success rate.
Then that's your minute. Thank you, Mr. President. We move on to player number 6, Miss Marva, your minute.
To increase your success rate, you probably should learn to nominate people during your speech. To begin with, I nominate player number 1
Number one
because
accepted.
she's gonna speak the last. I'm not gonna, probably not, unless you say something interesting, I probably will not going to vote against you. So, what I noticed, okay, number 9 did not play previous game. I don't think it would be her husband who would kill her. Well, at least as a Don. Otherwise, it would be very brave. So, yeah. So it's probably gonna be either somebody new who sort of did not have a feeling for this
10
unspoken
seconds.
rules, or somebody who got distracted sometimes, right? What I noticed, number 10 is actually playing with me, you know.
And thank you, Miss
picking up-
Marva, that's your minute. We move on to player number 7, Mr. Tiny, your minute.
There's some good constructive thoughts and analysis going on, particularly I think what kind of the players for me that seem to be red are number 2, number 6 and number 8. I didn't understand where the nomination and the logic was against number 8, what you said last time. I wasn't seeing any of it. But I mean, number 1 and number 3, what you've been saying, generally I haven't found it as articulate as I guess I'm probably used to, so it just felt a little bit different, that's all.
10 seconds.
And 4 and 5 are to me just grey. I just don't know enough. And number 10 I don't know enough at this point, so grey.
And thank you, Mr. Tiny, that's your minute. We move on to player number 8, Mr. Dramatic, your minute.
I still think number 2 is very red for me. Most red for me on the table. Just compared to when she had been Mafia, I don't know, she's just playing a lot more calmly, a lot more, I don't know, I feel like what she's said so far, I don't know, it just seems very honest to me. Number 10 was very quick to want to join your team, which I noticed too, but I don't know that there was much logic, so I'll nominate number 10.
Number 10,
I'm so
accepted.
sorry, I really like you. Again, nice to meet you. But I don't know, it was similar. And I mean, there was a little slip up when you said, let's catch the citizens, but no, that's
10
nothing
seconds.
to go off. Well, I thought he was being dark the last couple of times. I was wrong. I'm not getting anything strong.
And thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Dramatic, that's your minute. We move on to player number 10, Mr. Brisbane, your minute.
Hi. So I said I wanted to play with Mamba because when she said that she wants anyone to join her team, so definitely I thought that she's not Mafia. Anyhow, because she wants to work with residents because everyone thinks she's Mafia. So I think that was my reason to play with her. Because when someone says that can someone join her team, so I think probably. So I just wanted to be clear. And for me, I think I would like to nominate number 1. I think
Number 1
because
supported.
number 1 was already nominated. Number 8. Sorry, what?
Nominate number 8.
Warning, Miss Marva.
Okay, so number 2 is pretty red to me, and number 3 I'm
10
still not
seconds.
sure about her, and number 4 showed pretty red to me. Was.
Thank you, Mr. Brisbane, and we conclude today's discussions with player number 1, Miss Music, your minute.
So no one likes my speeches anymore, so I probably have to change my name to Weirdo or something else because I'm lazy. Okay, anyway, I can't see any teams now. Everyone is saying, I'm going against them, but as a red citizen, I can't join anyone because I don't know who playing with who. So from now on, I will go for my gut feeling and what I don't like in some of the speeches. I don't like the speech of number 5 the most, probably. Why? Because he's playing that cool vibe, but he's getting too much. Like, I don't really see the point. You get the strategic from some of the days.
10 seconds.
But now, nothing. And the player number 4, your 2 speeches were like nothing. I don't know.
And thank you, Miss Music, that's your time. That concludes the discussion portion of the day. We now move on to the voting portion of the day. No gesturing is allowed from now on, and please remove all hands and elbows from the table. We have 4 players up for nomination in this order. Player number 3, player number 8, player number 1, and player number 10. I'll repeat. Player number 3, player number 8, player number 1, and player number 10. Who would like to vote against player number 3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, thank you. Who would like to vote against player number 8? 2, thank you. Who would like to vote against player number 1? 2 votes, thank you. And who would like to vote against player number 10? 0 votes, thank you. Beautiful. So unfortunately, player number 3, your majority votes. You have 1 final minute.
Yeah, happy to go. Why? Because I'm living as a red. Why? Because the majority vote for me. Usually that happens when it's a red player. At the end, when like Mafia tried to go and favor that one. I think it's 8. He's very nervous. He's very jumping into what you're saying. He's not having a mind on his own. He usually does. People are like thinking she's red. And like, yeah, okay, she's not giving me extra that, but just think about what she's saying. Like, you know, like he's actually not moving the table anyway. Number 4, he was like speaking to me like, oh, go 8 or 10. I was telling him maybe 8 or 10, maybe 8 or 10 for me. And then he was like pushing me to 8. And then he was like voting for me like, ooh, very interesting at that one. And now I think 5 might be good. 7, great. I'm not sure about 1 because she has no speaking mind. I feel like everyone is against her and she's getting nervous for that.
10 seconds.
And number 10, he again, I feel like he's new. He would jump for something. We should decide what you did. So anyway, I'm living as a red. Good luck, City.
And thank you, Ms. Condor. Please give a round of applause for she's now leaving the table. Night falls upon the city. As the night grows darker, the vicious Mafia raises their pistols and moves past the players. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. Mafia John awakens and looks for Sheriff. Thank you, Mafia John. Sheriff awakens and looks for Mafia. Thank you, Sheriff. Morning arises in the city. Unfortunately, Mafia were precise, and player number 4, you were killed. You have 1 final minute.
I was sheriff, unfortunately. I checked players number 7 and player number 6, and they were both red. So I believe this strongly shows player number 8 is dark because 6 and 8 have been against each other. And 6 was saying for 8 to get checked the whole time, but I didn't. So I'd say 8 is your next best bet to go towards. What's the rest of the? I mean, just what? Play with 6 and 7, obviously. Try best. I think 10 is still just a bit suspicious too, just jumping straight in with 6, just very keen. So, but 8 was against 10.
10 seconds.
I was originally 4-3, but then her indecisiveness made me think that she just didn't know how to vote because Mafia didn't have a cohesive plan, and it ended up tracing
And
the
thank you,
judgments
Mr.
of other
Hanlock. That's your
people.
minute. Please give a round of applause. This is down to the table. We start discussions today with player number 5, Mr. President. Your minute.
Yeah, maybe player number 6 can explain why you think player number 8 is suspicious, because I must have missed something. Maybe player number 1 and 10 are the most suspicious just because they seem desperate to jump on a team with someone. You know, 1 and 10. Because they want to play with the team. Number 2, yeah, I don't know. Those are the only 2 that jump out, number 1 and 10. Nominate number 1,
Number 1 accepted.
and I pass.
Thank you, Mr. President. We move on to player number 6, Miss Mamba. Your minute.
I nominate player number 8.
Number 8 accepted.
Okay, so who voted against number 3? It was 1, 2, 4, 8, 7. You didn't vote against them. Okay, good on you. So 10 and 5 out of the mess, most likely. Well, at least one of them. So explaining about number 8. So number 4 was against him and I was against him, and so we cannot be in the same team, as you know, right? So we might still be wrong, but I don't think so. I don't know what to do with number 2. Because she forced us to throw away number 3, and
10
if
seconds.
number 3 is right, number 2 is dark. And I
Thank you,
don't
Miss
like-
Mamba. That's your minute. We move on then to player number 7, Mr. Tiny. Your minute.
Okay, the only thing I definitively know and feel comfortable is that we're in it together. Apart from that, it is a bit, well, hard. Number 5, how you're articulating is actually very similar to how I quite often talk when I am being dark and I'm just trying to slide gently. So doesn't mean I think you are, I just don't know. I lean towards number 2 being red. I'm just, the logic seems, you know, so kind of 8, 10 and 1 they're my question marks.
10 seconds.
Probably in the order of 8, 1 and 10 in terms of what I'm thinking. Pass.
Thank you, Mr. Tiny. We move on to player number 8, Mr. Dramatic. Your minute.
I still, obviously they're both, no one's the sheriff, yeah? No one, yeah, okay, so that's fine. They're both red. I mean, I feel the writing's on the wall for me, but I still think 10 is, I mean, for the sake of it, I'm going to nominate 10.
10 is accepted.
I'm sorry, but maybe 5. I mean, I'm making a lot of eye contact with her because I've realised I've put all my eggs in one basket and thinking, oh, she's the most red for me, and then I'm like, what if I'm wrong and she's not? One, I'm less, I know at the start I was like, oh, she's not, but you do seem genuinely pissed off that everyone's like not believing you, and not in like a, oh damn, they've seen through me, but like, oh, what can I do? Like, anyway, so I'm actually thinking you're more red.
10
now.
seconds.
Anyway, I really think 10's the darkest player for me. Well, yeah, I mean 10 and then 5, but.
And thank you, Mr. Dramatic. That's your minute. We move on to player number
So-
10, Mr. Brisbane. Your minute.
So since beginning I already told that I was playing with number 4 and number 6, because number 6 from her first sentence I had this vibe that she is red. So obviously she is red, as our sheriff said. So number 6 and 7 are good. For me, the darkest player is obviously number 8. So I think is already nominated. And number 2, I'm not too sure, as she might be 50-50. So let's keep her that way. Number 1, I would still put her in the grey zone, and number 5, I'm not too sure though. So I think for this round we should eliminate number 8. Yeah, everyone voted, and with so we should eliminate number 8 and see how it goes, so that citizens can win this game again, 3 in a row. Alright.
10 seconds.
So yeah, 6 and 7 are good, obviously. Pass.
He's this exact same as last game. He's so dark.
Good morning, Mr. Dramatic. Thank you, Mr. Brisbane. We now move on to play number 1, Miss Music, your minute.
Okay, so no doubt in the Mamba's opinion about the number 7 too, but number 7, I listened to what you said about number 5, and I can't construct the argument. Why are you against number 5? Could you tell us the reason later? So, Mamba, are you sure about the number 10? Because I see what they're against each other, but 10 is also against number 5, and I truly believe what 3 was voted out, and she's quite right for me. And but I see why 9 just from the beginning was pointing at me, her, and from the first speech before.
10 seconds.
So next time I'm gonna go against number 5 because I find it quite unlogical and suspicious. So.
And thank you, Miss Music. That's your minute. We've concluded today's discussions with play number 2, Miss Phoenix. Your minute.
Okay, I'm a little bit confused. First of all, the eye contact was because I found 8 quite nervous. I was trying to see if he was the sheriff. That's what I was trying to go so hard and make eye contact with him, because I know that's the only way that he could actually prove he was the sheriff. So we don't have any other sheriff, so we have to believe him, but at the same time, when I start to hear your speeches, my mind just thinks that could be just like a really tricky, weird strategy that can be playing on us, but I'm not really sure. Since the beginning, I thought number 6, was red, and I will keep my word about it. Yeah, we're gonna vote out number 8, but I'm not pretty sure who's gonna be next, because number 10 didn't really convince me yet.
10 seconds.
Like, he could be like a mafia behavior, just go with the red citizen. Number 5 is not giving much. Your last speech was better than the other one, so I can't.
And thank
be
you,
really
Miss
sure about
Phoenix. That's your minute. That concludes the discussion portion of the day. We now move on to the voting. Please remove all hands and elbows from the table, and no gesturing is allowed from now on. We have 3 players up for nomination today. Player number 1, player number 8, and player number 10. I'll repeat. Player number 1, player number 8, and player number 10. Who would like to vote out player number 1? 0 votes, thank you. Who would like to vote out player number 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, thank you. And who would like to vote out player number 10? Thank you. Unfortunately, player number 8, you did have majority of votes, and you're now going to prison, but you have 1 final minute.
In the kitchen before, I said, "Oh, well, we've had 2 citizens win. It's time for the Mafia to win," which I think is now going to happen. But anyway, good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Dramatic. Thank you for the down again. Table. Night falls upon the city. As the night grows darker, the vicious mafia raises their pistols and moves past the players. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10.
Second, don't you tell me what you think that I could be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master
Mafia
of my
John
sea.
awakens and looks for sheriff.
I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took to me, shook at me.
Thank you, Mafia John. Sheriff awakens and looks for
Taking my
Mafia.
message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the. You make me a believer, believer.
Morning arises in the city. Unfortunately, Mafia were precise. Morning arises. Unfortunately, Mafia were precise in their shot, and player number 6, you are fortunately killed. You have 1 final minute.
Very unexpected. Very unexpected. Alright, so number 7. So number 5 and number 10 voted randomly, right? So in the very first vote, when the number 3 gone, number 5 vote to somebody else, number 10 vote to somebody else. So who voted against number 3? It was 1, 2, 4, but he was sheriff, and yourself, and number 8. So yourself we're not counting. Number 8 was definitely Doug. So 1 and 2 looks like a team to me, because they voted against number 3. Now, number 1, when she was talking
10
about
seconds.
whoever, she did not mention number 2 as if she doesn't exist. So whoever live here, I believe it's 1 and 2.
And thank you, Miss Malva. That's your minute. Please give her a round of applause and she's now leaving our table. We start our discussion today with player number 7, Mr. Tiny, your minute.
Oh, bugger, I was hoping we wouldn't get this far. The number 10 feels red in the sense, you know, it feels like you're, but I'll be honest, I'm not picking up anything explicit. There is logic with what you've been saying, number 2. But I'm aware of how it can be manipulated, so I'd like to nominate number 1.
Number 1 accepted.
And that's because when I've been looking at the
10
various
seconds.
rounds, there's been some small gaps in terms of how number 1's been articulating, so that's what I'm going with.
And thank you, Mr. Tiny. That's your minute. We move on to player number 10, Mr. Brisbane, your minute.
Hello everyone, rise and shine. So I think number 1 is pretty grey for me. According to, I would agree with number 7. So yes, so number 1 is pretty grey. Her first speech was very bad. Then she recovered somehow, but I think she's still in a grey zone. Number 2, as Mamba said, I think she might be working with number 1. I'm still not sure because there is something fishy about her. So I would like to say number 7, number 2 and number 1 both are really grey zone for me. Number 5, I think he's only I'm not too sure. He can be a red citizen, but he's not giving up much. Number 5, so number 7 is obviously red for me.
10
7
seconds.
already red. So yeah, so I would definitely vote number 1 in this round and number 2 in the next round. And so that's everything from me.
And thank you, Mr. Brisbane. That's your minute. We now move on to player number 1, Miss Music, your minute.
Interesting. So number 7, I asked you your opinion. Why was you against number 5? You haven't given nothing about it. You just joining from the number speech. I know you're right, but you're not giving us your opinion. You just repeating the speech. You're the only Czech player. How can I work with you if you are not getting me to work with? We definitely wasn't the team with number 2, and I'm not gonna jump on yours right away. I'm just continuing with my suspicions about number 5. I'm nominating number 5.
Number 5 accepted.
Number 5 is inconsistent. He's not listening. He's just randomly pointing to anyone and just repeating that wild horse, whatever the story they just saying.
10 seconds.
I can't see the analysis. Number 10 is also suspicious. I don't know why Mamba was defending you. You, Mr. Brisbane, is quite.
And thank you, Miss Music. That's your minute. We move on to player number 2, Miss Phoenix, your minute.
Okay, you are the one that have to lead the table. You're the redest player. Remember, at the beginning, everyone said how red I was. Just go back to that point. When we both head out, there was a really mafia strategy to try to jump on me and get some dirty stuff to try to get attention on me. So, we have apparently 1 mafia, 2 mafias, apparently. So there should be 1, maybe 2 mafias on the table. I agree about her speeches not being really the best kind of thing. Yeah, I'm not pretty sure about her not 100% sure. What I have to point out, I'm gonna nominate player number 10.
Number 10
Jump
accepted.
right away to support you. That's or Super Mafia or Super Red. Not any single time before he said he was playing with you. He always
10
mentioned he
seconds.
was playing with number 6. And I've been asking number 5, hey, what do you think about everyone? And he didn't give me anything. So to be honest, I don't know what to do. But
And thank
don't
you,
do that,
Ms.
I'm
Phoenix.
good.
That's your minute. We conclude today's discussions with player number 5. Mr. President, your minute.
Player number 10, let me ask you a question. You know there's red, grey, and then black, right? Or dark, right? Because you keep saying number 1 is grey, but you mean grey or dark? Dark, okay. Yeah, so I support nomination for player number 1. I already voted for her before. I didn't trust player number 10 until recently, and he also voted for player number 1 before. So I'm gonna vote for player number 1 as well. And then hopefully the game will end, but if not, my next one would be number 2. I think player number 1 into our team. Number 1 has never even mentioned number 2.
Exactly how we're gonna be a team. We
What
never
is
make
Ms.
this
Phoenix?
Because she doesn't want to accuse you. Anyway, I'm gonna vote for number 1 and I pass.
Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes the discussion portion of the day. Please remove all hands and elbows from the table and no gesturing is allowed from now on. We have 3 players up for nomination today. They are player number 1, number 5, and number 10. I'll repeat, player number 1, player number 5, and player number 10. Who would like to vote against player number 1? 4, thank you. And who would like to vote against player number 5? 1, thank you. So unfortunately, player number 1, you did have the majority of votes. You were put to prison. You have 1 final minute.
Okay. Now I see what 5 is definitely dark, and because I don't like the number 10 at all, but and I like how they just get separate. So between you two, I think the 5 is the darkest. So if the game is continuous, so when you decide, because 2 definitely she tried to understand who's who, and 7 you checked. So I think you are the most red players on the table. So they were voting together. Whatever they say, their actions were together. So for the balance, if the game continues now,
10 seconds.
so go for the 5 first and 10, because it's the only way to eliminate Mafia if you go for the balance. So just, yeah.
And
Okay.
thank you, Miss Music. That's your minute. Please give her a round of applause as she's now looking at our table. Night falls upon the city. As the night grows darker, the vicious Mafia raises their pistols and moves past the players. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. Mafia John awakens and looks for Sheriff. Thank you, Mafia John. Sheriff awakens and looks for Mafia. Thank you, Sheriff. Morning arises in the city. Morning! Unfortunately, Mafia were precise in their shot in play number 7. You have been killed. You have 1 final minute.
I think my reading is that it's number 2. I found number 1 and number 2 were very suspicious in the sense of not really referring to each other throughout the process. And I also found interesting how number 2 voted for number 1 in the last round, whereas number 2 had been basically, kind of, no, it's not them. My comment earlier about number 5 was I just noticed that your speaking style and general interaction is similar to me when I can be dark and just trying to slide, so it is possible I'm completely getting it wrong. I'm recognising that, but and I still think number 10
10
is
seconds.
red in this, so yeah, I think it does come down to those two, but my leaning is that it's number 2. So good luck, citizens.
And thank you, Mr. Tiny. That's your minute. Please give a round of applause. This is now leaving our table. We start our discussion today with player number 10, Mr. Brisbane. You have 1 minute.
Yes, hi everyone. I think as number 7 mentioned, number 2 is the last Mafia member, I believe, between two of us. So I would just like to talk with number 5 and just before help me vote her out, because as Mamba said, and number 6 and number 7 already believed in that she was Mafia, and definitely she was working with number 1 since beginning, I think. As Mamba mentioned. What? Sorry. So yeah, I would just like to vote number 2 out. I think number 5 is
You would
pretty
like to
right
vote
to
number
me.
2?
Yeah, I would like to nominate number 2.
Number 2 accepted.
Yeah.
Do you pass?
Yeah, boss.
Thank you, Mr. Brisbane. We move on to player number 2, Ms. Phoenix, your minute.
Alright, player number 5. I'm gonna trust that you read. I hope you are. Why I think I'm nominated player number 10.
Number 10 accepted.
What I think he's really Mafia member. All his arguments are being just, Mafia mentioned this, as Mafia said, as Mamba said that, remember what Mamba told us about it? He hasn't any really real argument. So, just when she walks up the table, he was telling me, yeah, 5 is bad, and now that he said that I'm the bad, he's like, oh no, number 2 is Mafia. So, he just going with the flow, he just trying to get some support from someone. I'm red. Promise this time. I'm sorry, I sorry, no, I cannot say that. I'm actually a red citizen. You see, I'm actually concerned and worried and passionate about this.
10
I'm red.
seconds.
I knew they're gonna kill him because they're gonna put me in that position. He just going with the flow, supporting whatever he can just to get across. She said, oh, 5 is bad.
And
He's mentioned
thank you,
that
Ms.
right away, and
Phoenix.
I'm
That's your minute. We conclude today's discussions with player number 5. Mr. President, your minute.
You do make some good points, and I have been suspicious of number 10 for a while, but he also voted against number 1 early on. And the thing is, he was trusted by number 6 and 7. They trusted him, so I feel like I trust him too. And you manipulated me in a previous game by telling me you were the sheriff, and you're not the
I
sheriff.
can hear you, Ms. Phoenix.
It is the past, but I do remember it. So anyway, we'll find out who I'll vote for when it's time to vote. So maybe it will be you, maybe it will be Pen. Let's find out. I pass.
Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes the discussion portion of the day. We now move on to the voting portion. No gesturing and no hands and elbows on the table. We have 2 players up for nomination. Player number 2 and player number 10. I'll repeat, player number 2 and player number 10. Who would like to vote against player number 2? 2 votes, thank you. And who would like to vote against player number 10? Thank you, 1 vote. Unfortunately, player number 2, you do have majority of votes and you were put to prison. You have 1 final minute.
Whoever of you were Mafia just won. I'm pretty sure I was a red citizen. Pass.
Thank you, Ms. Phoenix. Please give a round of applause. She's leaving our table. I declare the end of the game and the victory of Mafia. Mafia won player number 1, player number 3, and Mafia gone player number 10, Sheriff player number 4.
Who else was Mafia?
1, 3, 10, and then
I left the table. What did I say?
And I
You
put
said
That's
one,
right.
three, 10.
I said 1, 3, and 10. Who
Yes,
listens
I
to
believed
who?
you.
No one.
I believed you, but then
I do. I
6 and
nominate
7
her.
were saying
I get
turn
her
it
out.
down.
What did I say? 1, 3, 10.
Yeah,
Who's
believe
that?
you.
1, 3, 10.
I believe you.
Yeah, not me.
Oh, good.
I know
You
she's
were so
always good. That's
sus.
why I couldn't. That was the best
Oh my
decision
God.
to remember for
I didn't
Yeah,
say.
not for me.
No.